Hello everyone, this is David Godibadze from IT Solutions Network, and today I'm going to talk about adopting Flex Mini 5-port gigabit switch from Ubiquiti to the remote UniFi controller. I have here remote UniFi controller running on Vultr. I, by the way, use the really good tutorial from Crosstalk Solutions. They have it on the website. It just worked like a charm. I followed the instruction, and now I have this UniFi controller for $5 in Vultr, and I use it for my lab, for my videos and things like that. This is the switch I'm talking about, Flex Mini. It's really good deal. It costs only $29, and it has 4 gigabit ports, which actually can transfer the gigabit traffic. I tested it, and I was able to transfer 950 megabit per second. I put the switch between 2 computers, and that's the speed I got. And it has PoE input. If you plug the PoE output in the first port, you can actually power the switch. And it, of course, comes with the power brick. And that's a still deal. $29, manageable switch, gigabit switch. I like this switch a lot because of how affordable it is and how small, and it's still managed switch. Now let's go and see how we can adopt this to the remote UniFi controller. If you go into the network settings on my UniFi, which you can, by the way, do on any of the device you have. So here, what you need is DHCP Option 43. Now let's see how we can adopt this using the only DHCP option. We don't have to install any UniFi control locally or do migration or anything like that. We just can adopt it remotely. So this is my main subnet. This is my primary subnet. The subnet that was here when I installed the UniFi controller. I just changed the IP address and I changed the DHCP option. I added the DHCP option. This is the DHCP option. This is the IP address of my UniFi controller. It's not technically my IP address. I swapped the IP address here so you guys don't see my real UniFi controller IP address. You put here your UniFi network controller's IP address and save. Option 43. Remember. Now what I do here is this native VLAN goes to the port 1. You see how the port 1 is here, right? This port has the profile trunk plus native VLAN. This is the profile I created, and this profile is used to connect to the switches. Now, let me show you this profile. Going to profile, here's the profile. On this profile, I'm saying that the native VLAN subnet is going to be untagged, and then we allow all the VLANs as tagged, which means whatever you connect to the port 1 here, interface 1, right? It'll get the IP address from the native VLAN, but it will also be able to get tagged VLANs coming with other subnets. That's what I want when I'm connecting the switch to my router. Now I'm going to plug this switch into the power. And as soon as the switch boots, it will get the IP address from the DHCP with the option 43 that has the IP address of the remote UniFi controller. And after waiting for some time, we can refresh this page and see that the switch, actually we don't need to refresh. Here's the switch. You see this IP address? This is the IP address from the native VLAN. If we go into networks, you see that native VLAN is still here. That's the IP address is from this subnet, right? Because again, I use profile with this subnet in it as untagged. So switch doesn't have to have the trunk port when I'm connecting to the router yet. It can get the IP address from the untagged VLAN coming as a native VLAN from the router's port. Now, once we adopt this, we can always go on the switch and assign the same profile that has all tagged VLANs and untagged native VLAN in it. And after assigning this profile into switch port 1, which is used to connect to the router, we'll still have the connection to the switch, but now we can carry all the VLANs from the routers. We'll wait some time to adopt this, and then we are going to change the interface, which is connected to the router. Now here we have switch, right? The switch is still offline, but once the switch goes online, we can actually assign the same profile, this profile, to the switch port. So if we go here on Gateway Max, here you see connection is to the Flex Mini, right? Now, it's the first port from the router, and on the Flex Mini also is the port 1. So all what I need to do is now change this interface to use profile, the same profile that I have on the router. And because I'll do that, I will be able to carry all the tagged VLANs to this switch, plus untagged native VLAN. I think Ubiquiti doesn't call it native VLAN, but I call it. So it's going to be native VLAN. And let's go and see if device is up to. Okay, it's adopted. Now let's go to the switch, port manager. On the first port, I'll do the same thing as I did with the router. I go into manual, I do Ethernet port profile, and I choose trunk plus native VLAN. This is my profile I created with the default subnet and all the tagged VLANs in it. gonna be applied, and once it's updated, it will still work just like before. But now I can use any of these ports. Let's say I want to do port 2 to have the second VLAN. For example, that's gonna be Ethernet profile, and here users wired, and I can do third interface the same but a completely different VLAN, because I created the profiles for all the VLANs I have with the subnet here. And that's it. This is all it takes to adopt the Flex Mini to the remote location. All you need is a DHCP option 43 and access to the DHCP server, of course. Otherwise, you can try to define UniFi in your DNS server. That should also work, but the DHCP option works for sure. You can even create the small router, which you carry with you if you want, and put your own DHCP server on it with the option 43 and put that router between Flex switch and the customer's network. And after adopting, you just remove the router and the switch is still connected to the remote Unifi controller. This is all I wanted to show you in this video. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. Thanks for watching and take care.